Hello and welcome back to another episode of DLC. I am your host today, Joey Fitz, and today we're looking at the game Winds of Arcarna Ruination. It's a 2.5D action platformer / metroidvania from Brood Games, and I'd like to thank our friends over at Game.Press and the developers at Brood Games who have gifted us the review copy. We really appreciate the support. So, what is Winds of Arcarna Ruination? Well, the game puts you in the role of a warrior named Aaron in a cursed, fractured world, and the game blends platforming, exploration, magic, and combat. As you traverse the 2.5D world, uncovering secrets, solving challenges, and hunting down threats, you'll learn much more about your world. You have a pretty big variety of weapons within the game, from swords to hammers to ranged magic enhancing chakrams, and the game offers a lot of flexibility, so you can build your own warrior mage style. There are weapon mixing choices, magical soul crests, and loads of character progression that allows you to play the game that you want to play. Exploration and navigation are at the core of this game. Grappling, gliding, platforming, unlocking shortcuts, discovering hidden zones and lore in true classic metroidvania style. Now, the strengths of the game. The ability to craft your own playstyle is a massive plus within a metroidvania. The flexibility in weapons, magic and upgrades means that you go from a heavy hitting melee or range magic build or something in between depending on how you want to play, and this keeps the game really fresh. The game world and the exploration mechanics feel pretty solid. There's a okay interconnected map design, and the sense of discovery and platforming and traversal throughout the game add a sense of freedom and a reward for curious players. For a game in this genre, I think there's a really great potential in mixing combat, magic and movement, which, if balanced well, it can offer a really satisfying build, skill and exploration gameplay loop. There's also a mood setting which seems really promising. The game is set in a dark fantasy world with mysteries and the idea of searching for comrades and uncovering ancient secrets. It gives a narrative weight beyond the kill, collect and level up gameplay that you might expect for a game like this. Now, it doesn't do everything perfectly. We've spoken about the strengths, let's talk about where it can do a little bit better. It's an ambitious indie title, and it's a metroidvania, and there's a risk of imbalance and some rough edges, particularly when mixing mechanics. Depending on how polished the mechanics are, I think in times the game felt a little bit uneven. For some players, expectations might outpace the execution. The warrior, mage and magic exploration concept sounds awesome, but if controls, hit detection, enemy boss balancing aren't tight, it can lead to frustration. I think this is quite common in Souls-like and Metroidvania hybrid games. The genre tends to attract players who love a challenge, which can be a massive plus, but it could be off-putting for someone who was looking at more of a casual Metroidvania experience. Finally, since the game mixes so many elements, the combat, the platform, the magic, exploration, it can demand quite a lot from the players, and it takes a lot of time, patience, willingness and experimentation to get the most out of your playthrough of Winds of Arcarna Ruination. So, after giving Winds of Arcarna Ruination a go, here's where I stand. The moment-to-moment is exploring a gloomy ruin, discovering hidden paths, leaping across platforms and gliding across chasms. That captures the best of the Metroidvania experience. I appreciated that the game gave me a lot of trust to explore, learn and uncover, rather than holding my hand throughout the whole thing. When combat and magic click smoothly, mixing a blade slash and a magical burst while dodging chaining attacks and maybe switching strategy on the fly, meant that I could see this game delivering something really special. A flexible and reactive, make your own kind of experience. Now, that being said, I'm not sure if the polish is entirely there in this game. Sometimes I felt like the animations were a little bit janky, the hitboxes left a little bit to be desired, enemy behaviour was sometimes a little bit strange, and sometimes the game felt imbalanced. It was either very difficult, or very easy in very short bursts. This is when the ambition of a game like this becomes a double-edged sword. It's fun when it works, but it was frustrating when it didn't. For me, Winds of Arcarna Ruination feels like a project with really high potential. It might not be flawless, but the foundations are certainly appealing. Variety, freedom, challenge, exploration. If you enjoy those things within your gameplay and you're okay with a little bit of roughness in exchange for some creative freedom, this could be a really rewarding ride for you. So if you love Metroidvanias, enjoying mixing magic and melee, and appreciate exploration in a dark fantasy world, this is one that I think you should give a shot. It's well suited to players who really like building their own playstyle and don't mind experimenting the same areas over and over again. That being said, I also think you should give this a go if you like a challenge. But if you prefer ultra tight, really polished action, or simpler, more linear games, maybe approach this one with a bit of caution. But for those drawn to Winds of Arcana's promises, those flexibility, mystery, and a world to uncover, this one's worth keeping an eye on because I think it delivers on those promises. All in all, I'd say that Winds of Arcarna Ruination is promising, but with an asterisk. It gets a recommendation, but with time, polish, and player support, I think this could be a really, really fun, long-lasting Metroidvania. And that's the review for today. If you've seen or played Winds of Arcarna Ruination, let me know. And again, thank you to our friends over at Game.Press and Brood Games for the review copy. I really did enjoy the time I put into it. I've been Joey Fitz. Make sure you check us out on our socials, like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and have a wonderful day.